Continuing on our example, now we are creating leads, assigning those leads, and then creating call tasks on those leads. And the next thing I wanted to do was add this last call time. The idea here is this is a roll-up field on the lead that tells us the created date of the last call task on that lead. So in order to assist with this, I installed a package called DLRS. DLRS is an open source free package that is quite popular in Salesforce. And the configuration I set up for this roll-up looks like this. So we're basically saying on the lead, of all the tasks related to that lead, give me the task with the most recent created date, where type is call and status is completed. Now, I'm running this in calculation scheduled mode. The reason is that many of you have probably encountered when you have too many DLRS running in real time, or you have transactions that are kind of hitting the limits at times, running in real time can be problematic. What it means, what it can do is cause an error which rolls back the entire transaction, which could mean that the task was never logged now. It can also mean that this field is not reliable. So if we're basing outflow and other things on this field, we will be improperly outflowing leads. So I think a lot of people have, as you start to use DLRS more and more, you start to move from real time to scheduled. And you know that the data isn't going to be there the instant that the task is logged, but it will be there pretty quick, maybe within an hour or so, and that's okay. Now, when you're running DLRS in scheduled mode, you have to run a scheduled job called rollup job. And in the classic Salesforce scheduler, you can only run that job up to once an hour because that's the kind of maximum frequency that the scheduler cron expression can be. But with this package, with Spigots, we're able to actually run that job much more frequently. So I'll show you the spigot that we have. I call it run DLRS rollup job. Schedule is always running. Input is rollup summary schedule item. So this is the DLRS object that gets created when there is a scheduled action for the DLRS rollup job to take, in this case, to update a lead. So we're just seeing if there's at least one of them. If there's zero, we're not going to bother to run this spigot, but if there's one or more, this spigot is going to run one time. And then we have our action. So our action here is of type Apex, subtype batchable. It's running a function called rollup job in the namespace DLRS. So the impact of this we can see in our Apex jobs. That the rollup job is getting run, and I'm using the default batch size of 200. So in this example, it just does one batch to run, and this is working. So you can see under this setup, we are creating 10 tasks every run of the Spigots app, and that gets distributed. We're creating 5. So that gets distributed over the last 5 most recently created leads that are assigned to test user 1 or 2. And then we see some from kind of the previous set of leads where the last call time isn't as recent. And it just goes back like that. So this is working, and it runs, instead of like running once an hour, which is what maybe most people have accepted as the fastest, that we can run it. This is going to run about once a minute. So if we look at the history here, we see that it ran at 12:05, at 12:06, 12:04. So this is going to run much faster than, the traditional limit for a scheduled job.